Get in, loser. We're reading Cas fanfic.
Facts.
We're gonna do a Cas and Reader and then a DESTIEL, so...
Dean and Castiel.
If you're about that life, keep watching till the end. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Christmas is only 3 weeks away. You squealed, walking hand in hand with Castiel, your boyfriend, into the mall. Cas smiled at your excitement and followed wherever you needed to go. I do not understand the idea of gift giving. Castiel was still a bit new to the whole idea of Christmas and was quite confused about what people do to celebrate. And one of those things was gift giving. Today you and Castiel were going to buy gifts, going to buy some things for Sam and Dean, maybe for a few others too. The Winchesters have done a lot for you both, so it was only fair that you got them something.
As you should.
As you should. You invited Cas to come along because he's always doing angel things or hunting. So you thought it'd be nice if he came along to keep you company and also to experience a human activity.
Okay.
Cas, I've already explained it to you like 5 times, you said, with a fun smile.
Bro.
Okay, so first things first, we're going to get something for Dean, you stated. Walking over to a store that sold menswear, dragging Cas along with you. What does Dean like? You muttered quietly to yourself. Cas heard and answered even though you were just thinking out loud. Well, Dean likes leather, Castiel said. Maybe get him one of those leather jackets, he suggested. You liked the idea, so you got Dean that, along with other things, like flannel shirts, mixtapes, and some of his favorite music. Which was hard to do since Dean already had a lot. His favorite beer, and of course his lady magazines.
Oh my goodness.
That would be so awkward to give to Dean. Let him buy his own.
What's my favorite beer for Christmas?
What's your favorite beer? You'll get back to me. At first, Cas didn't seem to realize what those were until you showed him the cover.
Oh, he doesn't know?
As the day went on, Christmas shopping was actually really enjoyable for the both of you. You got Sam some flannel shirts as well, a moose plushie toy, his favorite alcoholic drink, and a copy of his favorite book that he had when he was a kid but lost it years ago.
Oh, what is it? I'm intrigued.
No! You managed to sneak a few things for Cas too, when he wasn't looking. He did the same, sneaking things for you when you were occupied with other things.
How do you know? How does she know?
How do you know, Sophie? But one thing Cas still wouldn't understand was, Sophie, why do we need me on top of a tree?
I'm just gonna plop him right on.
He had asked when he mentioned getting an angel for the top of the tree. Cas, we're not putting you on top of the tree. We put an angel ornament or a star for decoration. You had emphasized so he would understand, and he did. Sort of. DESTIEL one-shots. Please tell me you're free this weekend. I begged Castiel while closing the door of our dorm. Well, hello to you too, Dean, Cas said from the couch while turning the page of his book. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Yeah, hello, Cas. Back to my question. What are you doing this weekend? I inquired as I laid on the couch and put my legs on Cas's lap. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about spending my Christmas reading all of the Lord of the Rings, Cas replied while turning the page. Nerd, I shouted while hanging my head over the end of the couch.
What?
Hanging his head over the end. He's still laying down with his head over the end of the couch.
You can't even see it.
Don't you want to do something more fun with your best friend? Cas looked up from his book and raised his left eyebrow. Well, what do you have in mind? So my mom just called and told me that the whole family's coming this Saturday for dinner to celebrate Christmas. So I was wondering if you wanted to go with me. I asked, hoping for a yes. Okay, but I know there's something more to it, so what's the catch? Cas inquired while returning to his book. There's no catch. Just wanted to invite my dear roommate/best friend who is always there for me when I'm in trouble.
Dear roommate. And they were roommates.
And they were roommates! I said nonchalantly while examining my nails. Dean, what is that? Is that bad? What's it? What's it? What's it? Is it that bad? Cas asked while looking up from his book. What? This doesn't make sense.
Cas asshole?
Asked.
Oh. Sounds like you said Cas asshole.
Cas is asshole. Cas, get out of my ass. Well, look, I kind of told my mom a little white lie about you on the phone. I explained and refused to make eye contact. A really little lie. What did you tell her, Dean? Cas questioned as he scanned me with his blue eyes, looking rather suspicious. The Harry Potter book fell into Cas's lap, and he screamed at the top of his lungs. You did what? Oh, I missed a line.
Oh.
His eyes looked suspicious. I took a deep breath and confessed. I kind of told her that you're my boyfriend. You did what? Drops Harry Potter book into lap. Wait, let me explain. She was talking to me about how nice it's going to be since my little brother was going to be there with his girlfriend. And she started to talk about how she pitied me because I'm all alone, and that I felt sorry for making her feel that way, and blurted out that I have a boyfriend. I explained as fast as possible before he tried to kill me. Yeah, same dude. Did you specifically say my name? Cas asked while putting his thick book on the wooden table next to him. Yeah, I replied with a sheepish look while scratching the back of my neck. Idiot. Why me of all the friends? I was panicking and you were the first person that came up to me, so I just blurted out your name, I stated while throwing my hands up. Castiel didn't respond and looked at me with a glare. I decided to put on my best puppy eyes that I learned from watching Sam. Please. Castiel looked conflicted, but I saw him slowly nodding his head up and down. Alright, just this once, I'm going to play your lovable, charming boyfriend. Thanks, Cas. I smiled as I jumped on him and gave him a bone-crushing hug. You saved my ass. No problem, he coughed, and I saw that his neck turned a bit red, but that was probably because it was so warm in here. Okay, there aren't many things you need to look out for tonight. Just don't get into a fight and don't talk about politics, because my dad isn't a big fan of it. I said as Cas and I were standing in my parents' driveway. No fighting and no politics. Got it. Something else? Cas asked while scanning my parents' place. Oh yeah, and never say something offensive in front of my mom, or she'll have your head. Off with your head! I looked to my right and into Cas's eyes, but I think you could pull it off since you're an angel, and you don't do anything bad like you're told to. He's an obedient boy. That's not true, Cas protested, and he folded his arms. That's not true. I also break the rules once in a while. You know, Cas, drinking out of a bottle, stealing someone's food, or calling someone mean isn't bad, but it's adorable. I laughed and ruffled his hair, which was surprisingly soft. My eyeball. Sorry. He let out a huff and walked to the front porch and muttered, ass butt. Yes, but. Hey, I called out to him and grabbed his wrist. I'm sorry, it's just I'm nervous to see my parents, especially since this time I'm bringing home a boy. Well, how do you think I feel? I'm about to meet your parents and I'm a nervous wreck, Cas exclaimed while biting his bottom lip. I walked in front of Cas and put my hands on his shoulders while looking into his blue eyes. You don't have to worry. I'm sure they'll love you. You only have to be yourself and everything will be alright, I reassured him. Castiel let out a huge sigh and smiled. Okay, I can do this. It's just one night and then I can finish reading my Lord of the Rings books. Yes. That's the spirit. I cheered and slapped his left shoulder. Okay, let's go before I get cold feet, Castiel stated and turned towards the front door ready to meet my parents. Wait, just a second, I said as I noticed that his black hair was sticking out in every direction possible. Thanks to me. What's wrong, he asked confused, turning around and furrowed his eyebrows. Your hair, I simply answered while patting his hair down to make it look like he didn't just get out of bed. I also buttoned the top of his white blouse and adjusted his blue tie that matched with his eyes. There, now we're good to go. Cas cleared his throat and scratched the back of his neck while his cheeks got red. Thanks, let's go. Okay, I drawled out, and I looked confused at the blush that was forming on his cheeks all of a sudden. I knocked on the front door and grabbed Cas's left hand to make it look more real, like we were actually dating. His hand was surprisingly warm, and I liked the feeling of his hand entwined in mine. Before I could elaborate on that thought, the front door opened, revealing my beautiful mom. My beautiful mom. Hey, Mom, I smiled to my mom, who was wearing a gorgeous red dress and her blonde hair into a side braid. Honey, you're finally here, my mom, Mary, said excited and pulled me into a tight hug while showering my face with kisses. Honey, I think that's enough. My dad, John, laughed and pulled my mom away from me. Good to see you, boy, my dad smiled. Enough! Cut off! I let go of my dad and they both looked simultaneously at Castiel, who was shaking and squeezing my hand like his dear life depended on it. Alms! Mom, Dad, I grabbed their attention and gestured to Castiel with a smile plastered on my face. This is Castiel Novak, my boyfriend. Not best friend, but yes. Cas cleared his throat and held his hand out. It's nice to finally meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Winchester. Come here, we're practically family now, my mom said as she swatted his hand away. And both Cas and Reader, which surprised him. Hi, Mira. My mom pulled back and smiled, and I prefer if you would call me Mary. Okay, I'll do that, Mrs. When Castiel stopped in realization and corrected himself. I mean Mary. My mother smiled in return, but my dad, on the other hand, was still staring at Cas. My dad looked at Cas with a passive look and studied him closely. So you're the boy who's dating my boy. Yes, Cas answered while he squirmed under my father's unfading stare. Castiel was shaking and squeezed my hand tighter. He locked his alarmed eyes on me and gave me that look that screamed, "Help me!" Dad, I think you're scaring him with that look you're giving him, I chuckled, and then looked at my mom for help. Well, that's the point, John answered while looking briefly at me, but then back at Castiel. Honey, why don't you go inside and get us something to drink? My mother asked to grab my dad's attention away from poor little Cas. Sure, honey, my father agreed, gave my mom a peck, and went back inside. I'm sorry for his behavior, it's just that he's very overprotective over Dean. My mom explained to Castiel with an apologetic smile. Especially since he had just found out Dean has a boyfriend. My mom settled, looking at me with raised eyebrows and hands on her hips. Yeah, sorry about that. I apologized with a sheepish look. I was going to tell you, but I wanted to wait for the right moment. Let's forget about it and enjoy the rest of the night, because after all...
Forget about it.
You forget about it! After all, it's Christmas, my mom announced and ushered us back in the house. Come on, let's go inside. God bless us, everyone! Yay! There's more to the story. Maybe we'll do a part 2 later. They were alright. I feel like we've read better fanfics. What did you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, subscribe to our individual channels, Real Weird Journey, and Epic Fashion. Peace, love, and happiness.
Remember to follow your dreams. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas!
Oh yeah, that too.